you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Brings back memories for me of childhood, sitting in front of the TV, hearing stories being told by master storytellers. Stories are really important. We've been listening to the resurrection tales, which are true stories of what actually happened with Jesus and his resurrection. But now I'm starting a new series, and these are the tales of Jesus. The stories Jesus himself told. Why did Jesus tell stories? Well, many other people have told stories. Aesop told fables. Hans Christian Andersen had fairy stories. They're not, if you like, true in the sense that they are historically accurate things that happened. But they're incredibly true in the sense that they teach us something. Stories get under the skin. Stories grow on us, and we listen and we appreciate and we learn from them. Jesus told stories. It's actually the way he taught about God. If you read some of Paul's letters, you'll think they're incredibly dense and full of lots of great statements about God, and they are. Jesus did a bit of that, but not much. The way he taught about God was through action and reflection and through stories. He called those stories parables. They were parables on life at his time. And we have to say that Jesus knew more about God than anyone else ever, because of course he was divine and he had that connection with his Father that was so close. If we want to learn about God and how to respond to him and what he wants and all other kinds of things, it is really good to listen to the tales of Jesus. And stories do another thing as well. They can divide. They often demand a response. And some people will say, I just don't get that. That doesn't work for me. And others will say, wow. And this is what happened in Jesus' time. Some people got his stories and they worked them out and they followed him. And others rejected him because of his stories, because they weren't what they wanted to hear. So stories often make us make a decision. So the question is, are we prepared to humble ourselves and sit at the feet of Jesus and listen to his stories? Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. This is the first story we're going to look at to do with Jesus. Jesus said, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. "Your brother has come," he replied, "and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound." The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So the father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, "Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him." "My son," the father said, "you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." Well, I expect you've heard that story before. It's the famous story of what's known as the prodigal son or the lost son. It can be found in Luke chapter 15, and we'll be looking at it in some depth over the next few episodes. Until then, I'll see you next.